Hello, and today we're going to look at the Statz Bet Builder tool and the best way to use this to help you make the best selections for your bet builder. So there's a few things you can do here in terms of setting the filters. I think the first one to look at is date. We're going to pick Saturday and Sunday. You can pick multiple dates here. So this is the upcoming weekend at time of recording. And these are all the competitions that Statz has available for you to use the tool with. We'll choose the Premier League, and then you're presented with the stats categories that you want to investigate. What we've tried to do is include as many of the player markets that popular UK bookies ask. Standard stuff like goals, yellow cards, assists, and the more stat-led player markets like shots on target, shots, the foul stuff, tackles, Ladbrokes and Coral even offer offsides. My favourite market, passes, doesn't seem to be offered much at the moment, but we do that as well. So let's focus on shots on target. We'll find a player who's had at least one, although we can change that. We'll use the last 5 games. As of time of recording, that will span a bit of last season and the early games of this season, but that's okay for now. We'll come back to betting odds. At the moment, we'll just try and find some players who fit the bill there. So one shot on target in the Premier League in their last 5 games at an 80% hit rate. You can see here we get a bunch of responses from our query tool. So someone like Mateta has had 7 shots on target in his last 5 games. That's a 100% hit rate because he's had one every game. Someone like Semenyo is an 80% hit rate because you can see he's one game here, which is in red font, that he didn't hit his target of 1+. But all of these guys are having regular shots on target, right? So this has helped us find some people who fit our criteria and we might want to consider. Obviously, the other important thing is not just kind of what their recent form is, but we want to be price sensitive as well. So we've integrated with a couple of operators here so we can provide prices. Here we'll go for Ladbrokes, and we can even change kind of our odds filter here so that we only see players, one, who actually have odds available to them, but two, more importantly, we're filtering what the odds range might be. So we're looking for anything over 1.5 in the decimal odds here, still keeping the same criteria of shots on target, and all of these guys come back with a price, and depending on your price sensitivity or how you like to see value, there's obviously some selections here that you could add to your slip, or you might want to look for something bigger. Completely up to you. There's obviously a couple that stand out nicely here. Not that West Ham are having too many shots on target as a team, but a couple of their individuals are, and the market doesn't fancy them against Forest, so you can get some good value on someone like Souček or even Fulkrug, who plays up front for probably about 70 minutes. We can switch to a different operator, see what it looks like there. Does anyone fit the criteria? And you can start to play around with how different players look on different sites. We can also go back to using Ladbrokes here. We can also look at some other markets, or maybe even we'll look at another competition. We could switch this up to La Liga. Maybe we'll slightly just reduce the requirement here to see if that gives us any lads from La Liga. Again, results shows you kind of what it is that you're searching for. And straight away, actually, we come back here with only one player who is 80%, who's playing on Saturday or Sunday, but all these guys have done 3 in their last 5. There's maybe a couple of different prices, a couple of interesting prices around, including this defender who seems to be having shots on target for fun at quite a juicy price, which is fun. What you can also do is, you can start to change up the stats categories. So if we go into something like the Premier League and we look at tackles, we can have a play around with that, and you can see players who have had at least 2 in 80% of their games. Let's see if we can try and find anyone who fits the bill at kind of over 1.5, who's been making a lot of tackles. This would roughly be my kind of threshold for finding an interesting bet, I think. And maybe all of these guys are in play. Someone like Bruno in his new, slightly more defensive role is more of a 6th and a 10. It's quite interesting here. He's hit 2+ in 4 of his last 5 games and both games so far this season, so his price might be quite interesting. So that's how you use the tool. Extremely helpful for finding the best value players. We'll do one last one just because fouls drawn has become quite an interesting market on Paddy Power, where, to be fair, they've lost a lot of value across the board. So we'll find players, hopefully, who have drawn a lot of fouls across their last 5 games, and then we'll match that up to the Paddy odds. Occasionally find some hidden gems here. Someone like Fabian Schär here is quite interesting, 100% hit rate. Bookies seem to have missed him. They often price up centre-backs in this market as the biggest option, which isn't always right, especially as forwards. And wingers like to press hard and give away fouls high up the pitch, so probably some value in defenders across the board here, I'd say. So I hope you found this useful. Give us any comments, things you'd like to see, things you'd like to see us do differently. Obviously, there's more that we could go into in future videos. Thanks for watching.